So we are live now. We can start.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah, I'm ready.
Feeling a bit nervous. For the first time, I am in front of someone who wrote a book on such a complicated manner like CISSP.
Uh,
So bit nervous, anyways. Uh, Thanks for joining with us live, Mr. Wenju. It's my pleasure to have. It's my pleasure and honor to have you as my guest in this live show, which is called Engineers Cabin. This program basically I'm hosting just to make the extract the informations from the industry experts who are working in different sectors and doing well for him, for his family, also for the society. Because when a professional works, it's my belief that like an engineer or doctor, when they work, they not only work for themselves, they work for the society, for their country. So we represent our country at utmost. So thanks for showing your affection and respect to the people of Bangladesh. Uh, just I hand over the mic to you. You can say if you want to say anything before going into the main program.
okay. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes. You are audible.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Mithan. The pleasure is mine, and I'm very pleased to have a talk with you tonight and to share what I have learned with friends in Bangladesh. Yeah. So I come from Taiwan.
Yes, this was the nicest place that I've never. So before taking it, what asks you, how's your family and how friends in Taiwan, how Taiwan is battling against the pandemic? If you can share, what's the current
The
situation?
pandemic situation in Taiwan.
Right, right.
Yeah, thanks to our early containment and countermeasures from the government. So far so good. The pandemic is under control right now in Taiwan, and it's quite safe
Yeah.
in Taiwan. Yeah. So, however, the economic impact is quite profound and seriously. So, it's a global issue. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Right. That's true. So, what the thing, because in Bangladesh we are still struggling, the number of cases are rising and also the number of death tolls are increasing day by day. So, what are the special thing that your government has done or put in place so that less people become affected and less death caused by this COVID-19 virus?
Okay. In the very beginning, when it is alleged that there's some unknown virus that was spreading in China, and our government sent two
Okay.
experts to Wuhan for investigation. And when they came back to Taiwan and suggested our government to impose a control over this virus, so we have imposed a border control uh, uh, in very early times.
Okay.
Okay, so border control is quite critical. It prevents the spreading of virus into Taiwan very effectively. And after that, the commander of our CDC held press conferences every day to communicate with the public so that people can feel safe, because we know that our government is controlling and containing the virus. So it's a very effective communication. And the government educated people and to promote the awareness, how to the seriousness of the virus, and teach people how to prevent this virus. Say to put on a face mask. In Europe or in the United States, people are reluctant or resistant to wear a face mask. However, it's quite acceptable in Taiwan. So our government built assembly production line to produce face masks to meet the local demands. Okay, so so face mask plays a crucial role to contain the virus, and washing hands. Okay, face mask, washing hand, and social distancing. These three measures turn out to be very effective. Okay, and the success is a collaboration between the government and the businesses and the communities and the public. It's a collaboration of success. Yeah. So far so good.
That sounds good. When you talk about the containment, it remembers me one of the topics in CISSP is incident management, where containment is one of the part. When virus starts to spread, you need to contain it first. So actually, our so many decisions in our life we can take from the CISSP content. So
DCP.
so let's start. Let's start with our today's original discussion point. My first question is to you. How did you came into the security industry, or what was the trigger point before coming into this industry? What you were actually doing, and why you think that it was the high time to move into the security domain?
Okay. Wow. The security industry is broad and means a lot of things. So I would define myself as a security instructor. So training as part of the security industry is one of my services. To be specific, I'm teaching CSP and CSM courses in Taiwan right now. And I started my IT journey in 1990 when I was a high school student. Yeah.
Okay.
So since then, I have run through a couple of job positions, such as IT trainer. I was IT trainer when I was a college student. Yeah.
Okay.
So I taught business how to use computers.
Okay.
Yeah. So I was a network engineer, software developer, a business analyst, project manager, a senior manager, and now a business founder. So addressing security issues was part of my duty before, but teaching security now is one of my services. Yeah. Okay. So my company, Amicrines, is a software house delivering quality business solutions with the leverage of ICT, information and communication technologies. So what I mean by quality is our solution meets the quality criteria. You pass me. Usability, U for usability, performance, availability, scalability, security, maintainability, and extensibility. Okay, so that's my quality criteria. You pass me. So there's a factor, security there, right? Okay, so I pursue certifications as proof. Yeah.
Please carry on. Please. Okay.
Okay, as proof of our software quality and provide assurance to customers.
Okay.
Yeah. So okay. So based on my tech savvy business background, I decided to dive into security training because of three reasons. Number one, because of the gap of security maturity and connection between Taiwan and the international society. Okay, so we have to make progress and improve to catch up with the average level of international society. Okay, number two, because of the silos of information security and risk management. Traditionally, these two disciplines, I mean, information security and risk management, these two disciplines are not integrated very well. Okay, so I dive into security industry, try to integrate these two disciplines in a more uh, uh, yeah yeah, to organize them in a more integrated discipline. Okay, number three, it's my
That's
mission
good.
to promote awareness
Many
of better.
people, I found that
Hello, 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 boom, 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 boom.
hello.
Okay, welcome back.
Okay, okay. Unfortunate thing happened. Okay, let us resume to our original discussion. I hope the live
Okay,
is on. Okay.
okay.
The one question I hear from many personals, because you know that there is a vibe in security industry and many people are trying to enter into this market. So,
Mm-hmm.
what is the starting point? Because security is not in practice. When you talk about security, many people think it is only IT. Security is IT kind of thing,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
especially, or you just put an antivirus install in your computer and just say safe. This is the so. But actually it is not like that, so far my understanding. So if you want to address this question, as you are a trainer and you as a mentor working as a solution provider also,
Okay.
which thing which certification or what you should what skill set you should consider as a entry point in security domain?
Insecure demand. Okay,
Right.
it's a very good question. However, it depends on your career, your career objectives. Okay, so because the security industry is broad, I typically categorize the job positions into three categories. Some job positions are at the governance level, say CISO, right? Okay, so
Right.
ISACA is the ideal certification provider for certifications at the governance level, and the second level is about security management, and IC Square plays a crucial role, especially the CSP certification. And the third category is about operations and technologies. So job positions in red teams or blue teams, right? Yeah. So that's common
Right.
job positions. So it depends on which track or career path you will follow. So if you're passionate about technology, say pen testing, so you may be pursuing certifications about ethical hacking, pen testing, positions in red teams, and some will choose the blue teams positions. However, some will choose management positions. So according to the DoD Directive 8570, they also divided job positions into a couple of categories, say IAT, IAM, architecture and engineering, and service provider. There are a variety of categories. So it depends on your career decision. So but as a security professional, I think there are some essential certifications or baseline certifications to pursue. The first one is CISSP. It frankly, it's a baseline certification. That means you have to be certified as a CSP to work for, say, DoD. If you if you're not a CSP, you are not qualified for most of the job positions. Okay, so that's why CSP is so popular. Yeah, so CSP is a must as far as I'm concerned. And the second one is CSM. CSM is an awesome certification. Once you receive your CSP, I always suggest my friends to get CSM. Okay, so it's much easier when you receive when you pass CSP exam to get CSM. It's much easier. And the third is ISO 27 and 1. Uh, you have to attend the training courses. Okay, so these three is essential. And another one is CEH. CH. So this stack, I think, is quite essential to security professional, CISSP, CSM, ISO 27001, and CEH. I think, yeah, it's good
That's
enough.
Thanks for I think this is the most helpful information for the newcomers who wants to join in this security domain. Thanks. Now, my question to you: when I came across the idea of CISSP and I was searching for some quality content for the exam preparation, and the first thing that I was found in everywhere word of mouth, which is called this Sean Harris CISSP book.
Yeah,
And
AIO.
when I when I came across this name and I went to the local bookstore and I bought, I hardly were able to read 40% of the total contents because, of course, that content was very rich, but the language was very dry and very hard to go through all the contents. Then I was searched what the alternatives available. Then I came across the name official CISSP book, which is a Cyvex one, and it
Yeah.
was bit okay. And I have gone through few times that book, and it's okay. It is tolerable. But Shonwaris was very difficult. Uh, but though that book is really great in terms of content.
Yeah.
So if I took this book as a baseline, which is just mentioned baseline, then how do you rate your book and what are the improvements that you have brought in your book's effective CISSP, and how it is going to help the CISSP aspirants who are going to take this exam in shortest time?
Okay, how to prepare for the
Right,
CSP exam? Yeah,
right,
traditionally we have two Bibles, right? The
right, right,
AIO from Sean Harris, and the second one is the official Cybex study guide.
right,
Yes, I did have these two study guides, and yep, yeah, they're awesome study guides. However, they're not tutorial. They collect. AO is organized in pretty well in a very structured way. However, yeah, some people feel it's kind of dry. And Cybex introduced concept in plain English.
right,
Plain English. It's much easier to read. However, they don't introduce. I mean, they're not tutorial. They are not really teach. They just explain concepts, right? They
right,
explain terminologies. They introduce processes. Okay. However, they are not a tutorial to give you a whole picture of information security. So, if you ask CISP aspirants a very simple question: what is information security? There are a variety of definitions, replies, responses, answers, right? There's
right,
no consistent definition of information security. That's really weird. Even now, you ask IT guys, security professionals, or even CSPs, we don't have an agreement upon the definition of the information security, right?
right,
Yeah. These two study guides is pretty good. However, for those who are new to CSP, they might be confused, even though they have read from cover to cover, but they still fail badly in the CSP exam. Why? Because they don't have a solid foundation or conceptual framework. So I decided to write a book for those who new to CISP.
Okay.
So it's a supplement to this AIO and CyBEX study guides. So it's good to read my book first, or and finish my book and get started to read these two study guides. You're gonna you won't be lost. You won't be
Okay.
lost.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. So
Okay. There's great because the what you have shared is the same for me. Because when I tried to go through this book, I was also lost in between. Even after one or two chapters, I feel like that I'm not going to this. This is not my piece of cake. I'm not going to make it. That time I was trying to. Then I bought the book of Security Plus and started. There are some basic books available on security, so that I enhanced my knowledge on security. Then I when I get back to the book, then I found this, yes, okay, it's related to me or my personal life or company structure. So thanks. In Taiwan, what is the job market or job prospect for CISSP people?
frankly, Taiwan has a huge demand for CSPs.
Okay,
2 years ago, we passed a law
okay,
about information security. It is it's kind of the equivalent to the U.S. FISMA. Okay,
okay,
so we have a new law passed to regulate our information security across the government, and that will drive enterprises to invest more in information security. So in Taiwan, there's a huge demand for CSPs. But we only have around 324 or something CSPs in Taiwan.
okay,
So, well, you know what? South Korea has around, say, 2,000, right?
okay,
2,000 CSPs, even Hong Kong and Singapore. Yeah, they have more than I remember 2,000 or something CSPs. Yeah, so there are only 324 CSPs in Taiwan.
okay.
So the supply of CSP is much short of demand. Yeah.
Okay. In our I think the is still very less, and we are trying. We have a very good CSP community in Bangladesh who passed the certification. We are trying hard to make and more CSP on board, so that we can implement when government wants to implement information security law and harden it. We can support. We have the manpower.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
why? Just out of context, I have one question. I have never met with any people from Taiwan, so I have not I got the privilege to ask anyone. Taiwan, in terms of IT industry, technology context, hardware like things, they are far ahead from others. It is my understanding. The level of products or industries Taiwan have. Uh, what is the special thing about Taiwan? Why investors from like Apple or they are Taiwan? Is the government policy, or it is the human resource, or it is the people of Taiwan? What do you think? What is the secret of success in IT for Taiwan?
IT, I think the government policy plays an important role. In fact, the foundation of the IT industry was founded or established decades ago. So we have a scientific part that uh, with the focus of manufacturing IT products.
Right.
However, that you know China is the factory of the world now. So because of the because vendors are competing on prices, so, on low prices. So frankly, the manufacturing of IT products is quite challenging in Taiwan now. So we're trying to transform our industry to more value-added sector. So,
Okay.
The first one is policy, government policy, and investments from private sector, and the education systems. As far as I'm concerned, I received a four-year degree of information management. It's about it's part of IT, and yeah, and it helps me a lot and contributes to back to the IT industry. Yeah, so
Okay.
it's an early day investment of the government, and we did receive some fruitful results. But nowadays, it's a new challenge for us to transform our IT industry to a new level or a new stage. Yeah. Okay. So policy, education system, and private sector investments. Yeah. I think they're successful factors.
That sounds great. Nice to hear from you. So our next discussion is on risk management. What is one of the most critical part in CISSP, and because there are risks if you talk about network point of view, if you talk about business point of view, there are risks, and risks has to be addressed in primary stage or before it happens, before it triggers. Uh, in that case, my question to you: how companies will how a CSP who does not have that amount of practical knowledges in terms of business, how he can identify risks and how he can do the treatment based on the vulnerability level or risk level as per the business need. So simple question is how risk identification I found is the most difficult task. The many people question how to identify the risks. So what is your take on that?
Okay. That's an awesome question. Okay. Uh, Everything we do is driven by objectives. Objectives. Everything we do is driven by objectives. So the purpose of risk management is to control risk to an acceptable level so that our objectives can be achieved, right? So managing risk is managing objectives. Risk and objectives. Managing risk is managing objectives. Okay, because risk refers to uncertain events or factors that may affect our objectives. If we develop, we follow the definition from ISO 31000, risk is the effect of uncertainty on objectives. So managing risk is managing objectives. Okay, so for example, when you conduct pen testing against your web server, okay, it can be treated as risk identification, right? We want to identify any factor or event that might exploit our vulnerabilities of web servers. That's why we conduct pen testing, right? We have a purpose. We have objectives. In the context of security, our objective is our CIA, right? confidentiality and integrity and
Right.
availability.
And
Everything
everything.
we,
Right.
yeah, everything we do is just to achieve this security objective, right? CIA. Okay.
Right. Right.
So our company conducts security audits that can be treated as risk monitoring, right? And
Okay.
we are implementing VPN for home users or remote workers, or
Okay.
HTTPS, fingerprint access control, everything. They are just risk driven, right?
Right.
If we interpret everything we have done or conducted, we can interpret them from the perspective of risk management. So, uh, everything we do is part of risk management. So I'd rather treat risk management as common sense instead of skill or expertise. So as a security professional, why we have to study risk management? Because we conduct activities to achieve business objectives or security objectives or organizational objectives. Okay, so there are associated risks with each level of objectives. So we have to control or manage risk to achieve those objectives. But we have to make it clear what our objective is. As a security professional, our security objectives is to protect our assets from threats to achieve the objective of CIA, so as to support our business objective and organizational objectives. Okay, so how a business manage risk? First of all, we have to identify what is our objective. Okay, and we do everything to protect from bad things that will impact our objectives. Okay, that's what risk management is all about. So it's common sense. So according to ISO 31000, there are just two broad steps. The first step is risk assessment. We have to assess risk, and then we have to apply risk treatment. So risk assessment and risk treatment. And specifically, what we do in the process, in the step of risk assessment, we just identify risk, analyze them, and evaluate them to make a decision what risks we want to respond to. Some risks are too their impact are too small. We can put aside or retain them in the risk register. We don't have to respond to them. However, there are some risks we have to respond to, so we have to prioritize them. Okay, and formulate some solutions to respond or to handle those risks. So risk management, frankly, is quite simple. Yeah. So everything we do are risk management activities. Everything. Yes.
During the pandemic time, many IT workers are supporting from home, as we all know. So, so suddenly, many companies, our system administrator, IT administrator, realize that we need to provide connectivity like a VPN connectivity, as you said, also for the teleworkers or remote workers. So, according to me, the company which was not ready for this this solution, this type of environment can occur one day. So I think there's lots of security leaks in their processes. So can you please tell us what are the potent risks that can happen in this architecture, or what do we need to do to address them?
Okay.
Just few
Uh,
examples.
yeah. Are you working from home now?
Yes, I'm working from home
Okay,
right
that's awesome. So you must experience a lot about risk work from home now. Okay, as what I have introduced that before we're talking about risk, we have to identify our objectives first. So
now.
why do we have to work from home or remotely? Uh, Frankly, a company asks employees to work from home to protect their employees' life and health and to
Right.
continue the business. Okay, and yes, there are many risks to our security objectives in terms of cybersecurity. Okay, so there are different tiers or levels of objectives. We have security objectives, we have business objectives, we have organizational objectives, and organizational objectives may protect employees' life and health. Business
Right.
objectives is to continue deliver products and services, to continue our business. Okay, and as a security professional, we have to protect our assets to achieve CIA. Okay, so there are a lot of risks that will affect our objectives. Okay, so not all work can be done at home or remotely. Say the assembly line for a manufacturer, right? If you assemble a
Right.
car, you cannot
Right.
ask your worker to assemble the car at home. So it's that's not possible. So not all work can be done at home. Okay, but so you have to determine if uh, the task or work can be finished remotely. So that's the first decision. So if you ask employees to work from home to do something that are not appropriate to to conduct remotely, they will lead to low performance or inefficiency, right?
Right.
Okay, so that will impact our business objective. Okay, and even so, you're now working at home or from home. Uh, in the beginning, you must feel quite comfortable and happy, right? You can take care
Right.
of your children, your family, and
Right.
in the meantime, you can take care. You can conduct your duty. Okay. However, if you keep working from home for quite a long time, you must feel there will lack of social interaction. You must be you must feel loneliness. Yeah.
Right.
Uh, Okay, so that will impact the mental health of an employee, right? Okay, so there's a blurred line between personal life and work.
Right.
Employees may mix everything all together. Yeah,
Right. Right.
so okay, and there are much more distractions to at home, right? You have
Right. Right.
TV shows, social
Right.
media, computers, TV games, a lot of distractions. Okay, so that will affect uh, operation efficiency. Okay, and from the perspective of IT, the cost of software and hardware to support remote access uh, is a concern for most of the business. You have to buy more, say, VPN client licenses, right? You
Right.
have you have to buy more devices. Uh, Certainly, some business or companies will ask employees to use their own devices, their laptops or PCs to for the work purpose, right?
Right.
However, it brings more security issues.
Right.
Okay. Say you cannot apply your security standard and baseline as well as to employees' devices, as well as you have done in the office. Okay,
Right.
so it's difficult to manage employees' devices, and there are privacy concerns, right? Can you install
Right. Right.
remote control software on employees' devices, or even monitoring software? Yeah, so that's quite complicated. Yeah, and some data cannot be transmitted remotely, especially for those in the banking industry.
Right.
I'm afraid that banks will allow employees to work at home and connect to the mainframe for transactions, right?
I
Okay.
don't think.
Even technically, we can do so,
Yes.
but there are a lot of security concerns. So data flow to home users is subject to a data breach. So okay, so yeah, so there are a lot of security concerns. So from as far as I'm concerned, I won't just keep my eyes on security objectives or security risks. We have to take business issues into concern. Yeah.
Right.
Okay. So yeah, that's some of the common risk that may happen. Yeah, common risks. Yeah.
Business continuity plan. It's one of the main content of the CISSP exam. Because
Yeah.
I want to discuss bit about this because as you've seen that during pandemic time, which is around like 3 4 months 5 months in different countries, the duration varies. Most of the many companies struggling, like struggling to sustain. Many are shutting down their doors. Employees are being fired. There's a mess. Not in our country. Like is in this part of the world, there the per capita income is a bit lower. But even in higher revenue, higher per capita countries like USA, Canada, everywhere the situation is not. They are not doing good. So, do you think that what is the wrong thing, or what is the issue actually this company didn't address, or business continuity definitely dropped? So, what is your take on it? You can give us some example how they should have integrated more BCP in their planning.
Yeah. Another awesome question. Okay, it's quite interesting. BCP is an interesting acronym. It
Right,
can refer to business continuity, policy, program, project, planning, or plan, right?
right,
And so I assume you are referring to business continuity planning or plan.
right,
Am I right?
right, right, right.
Okay, so we're talking about business continuity planning.
Right.
Okay, before we get started to plan for everything, anything, we have to identify or set our goals or objectives. So we plan for objectives, right?
Right.
Okay, so what's the objective we're planning for? If you ask me, we have to conduct business continuity planning, but what's the objective we're planning for or intend to achieve? Okay, so when people are talking about BCP, they seem it tends people tend to forget the objective. Okay, so our objective may be keeping the business from disruption, right? We always take it for granted. BC planning, business continuity planning. We just trying to keep the business from disruption. And business continuity is, frankly, is organizational capability of preventing the business from disruption. So we are planning for the development and maintenance of the capability for business continuity, right? We are planning for developing that capability and maintain the capability of keeping our business from disruption. We are developing and maintaining the capability to continue our business. Okay, so business continuity planning is a process to develop the capability of BC, business continuity, and maintain it. Okay, so however, COVID-19 profoundly impacts almost all organizations and companies around the world. Most of the companies are shut down because of the decline of demands and revenues instead of disruption of business processes or delivery of products and services, right? If you think seriously about the nature of the impact of the COVID-19. In fact, it impacts the revenues instead of it disrupt. It may disrupt our business processes, but oftentimes it decreases our revenues. Companies don't have enough revenues to pay rent, salaries, so that they cannot afford that, so they are shut down. However, in some cases, companies are shut down because of the disruption of delivery of products or services. In Taiwan, there are some medicinal drugs are no longer provided because they're manufactured in China. As far as I'm concerned, I use a prescription drug, and currently the doctor replaced a new one, a new drug, because of the shortage of the previous drug. Okay, so if the pandemic results in the disruption of delivery of business or products or services, that's the scope. That's in the scope of BCP, right? Disruption of delivery. Yeah. So we have to define our scope first. BCP is not developed to boost our revenues, right?
Right.
Okay. It is developed to prevent, response to, and recover from disruptive incidents. Okay, so we have to identify our objectives of business continuity. We have to define our scope first. Okay, we don't address those problems out of our scope. Okay, so so when we are talking about business planning, we have to identify our objective and define our scope. Okay, yeah. So how do you do to plan for business continuity? There are three factors to consider. The first one is to prevent. How to prevent uh, uh, from occurrence of disruption. Okay, we can take proactive actions to prevent incidents. And unfortunately, if an incident occurs, we have to respond to the incident effectively,
Right.
okay, and efficiently. Okay, and in some cases, that incident becomes a disaster. Okay, and disrupts our delivery of products and services. We have to recover our business and services as soon as possible. So in all CSP study guides, that they will introduce the concept of MTD, maximum tolerable downtime, and RTO and RPO. Yeah, they're critical and useful. Yeah. Okay. So in Taiwan, companies are mitigate the risk by splitting employees into different shifts. Okay, say 2 shifts, and to reduce work days. Say in Taiwan, we work for 5 days each week, and some companies will ask employees to work for 2 or 3 days. 2 or 3 days. Okay, to mitigate the risk, and they may relocate employees to different location or building. Okay, in case that confirmed cases occur. Okay, so they can mitigate the impact to limited location and or to specific shift of employees. Yeah. Okay, so that's common measures taken in Taiwan. And business are reducing their traveling, cancel campaigns or events. Yeah. Okay. So even though we have contained the virus very well, however, the economic is slowing down gradually. Yeah. So now we have to deal with this tough situation because the economic is impact globally. And we have a lot of global customers, foreign customers. So if they don't buy, even though we can manufacture products, nobody buys. Yeah, so we have no revenue. So even though we can keep our business running, but we have no customers, no orders, so it's no use. So yes, maybe we can implement our BCP quite effectively or very well. But if we don't have customers to buy our products, it's no use. Yeah. So the real challenge is the consumers, the customers, and I believe as a security professional, we can control the situation very well to keep our business running smoothly, even in this pandemic time. But we have to invest more time in boosting our revenues. Yeah.
One question I received from one audience. The question is like they feel that one of their employee or some of their employees leak some sensitive informations using Skype or Facebook by this media, not by email. They leak somehow, maybe using their mobile phone or something. Is
Mhm.
this kind of situation can be prevented?
Okay, Skype video. You mean the security risk in terms of Skype, Facebook, social media, and web video conferences? Hello, 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 hello. Welcome back.
Yes, yes, yes.
Yeah.
I don't know
Okay.
what happened.
Is your question is about the security risk of Skype, Facebook, social media, and video conferences?
Uh, like in their company, they think that is suppose I am the one of the employee and I am leaking some sensitive information to the other other competitor. So how in a small scale organization or mid-size organization, how he can prevent this to happen? This is a question from IT admin or IT
Okay. Okay.
administrator.
Okay. It's a common, yeah, it's a common question to prevent employees from leaking confidential data to competitors, right?
Right, right, right.
Okay. Okay. Uh, yeah, by the book, we can implement security controls in terms of the traditional three categories of security controls: administrative, technical, and physical. So yeah, you should uh, have a policy to that employees know it's not allowed to, yeah, to release or leak companies' confidential data to competitors. Uh, you may think it's common sense. However, I believe there are many companies don't have a policy,
Right,
right? Yeah, it's easy
right,
to know, but not every company implement a policy for that issue. Okay,
right.
so okay, and there are many technical controls. Say, but it costs much. You can implement DLP, right? Data loss prevention, but it's not affordable to every company.
Yeah.
Okay, and the most essential task is to conduct training, especially awareness training. Right? You have to that employees know you cannot do that, and how to prevent that from happening. Okay, and you have to implement some physical. Okay, so employees may invite their friends to visit offices, right?
Right.
So it's a good opportunity to steal something physically or data. Okay, so yeah, so how to prevent from data breach? Yeah, we can just yeah, those study guide introduce a lot. Yeah, so if you have no idea how to implement those security controls, uh, there are some frameworks, say ISO 2701, it's ISMS that provides some idea for you to implement essential security controls, and you can add on some controls that customize to meet your company's requirements. Yeah. Okay. Or okay, ISO standard 27001 is quite popular in Taiwan. Taiwan government required our departments and agencies to implement ISO 27001. So it's a mandatory regulatory requirement in Taiwan. Yeah. So for private sector, yeah, it's a good choice. Yeah. Yeah. So,
Thanks, Mr. Win. Okay, for joining with us for tonight special program. I wish you very grand success with your book. And one information again for our viewers that Mr. Wentz declared one special discount for the people who wants to buy his Kindle version of the book. I saw many good reviews about his book on Amazon, and I hope you will be benefited who wants to prepare yourself for the CISSP exam. You can take a look in his book, and hope we'll meet again in future, and our collaboration will help many CISSP to overcome this difficulty of this exam. If you have anything to share as a goodbye note. Was I audible? Were you able to hear me?
yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So, as a goodbye note, can you, if you want to share anything with us, you can share.
Okay. Taiwan is a lovely island, so welcome to visit us.
Sure, sure.
Yeah,
I will.
yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you,
Good
Nathan.
night.
Yeah, thank you for having me here. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. Good
Okay.
night. Have a
Yeah,
nice
have a
weekend.
good night. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.